Minute Friday, Adventures in Southern California. We spent the last 2 months here in SoCal between San Diego and LA in this city called Lake Elsinore. It's part of the Inland Empire. There's a ton of people that live here, but a lot of them commute to San Diego and LA. Anyway, we're staying with family here, December 2017, January 2018. And I was actually spending a lot of time writing Superconductors, which is almost done. Look for that coming out in July. But we did get out for a lot of good adventures. So here's what we managed to do in our 8 weeks while we were here. Started off with going to a business mastermind in Encinitas, which is down near San Diego, with a couple former guests, Barringer and Emily Utter. We hosted an Art of Adventure Meet-up after that business mastermind in San Diego. Got to meet some fans of the show and some other adventurers. We took a ski trip up to Big Bear Mountain. It rained down here in the valley, so we knew it was snowing up at Big Bear. So we went up and caught pretty much the only fresh snow of the season. Which I was surprised there's even a ski resort this far south in California. And that was in preparation for our 4-day ski trip to Whistler, British Columbia. So that actually wasn't California, but we did do that a couple weeks ago. And a couple of the big highlights were waking up early in the morning for a sunrise hot air balloon trip with California Dreamin' in Temecula wine country. The hot air balloon pilot was also a winemaker, and it was cool. As we were flying over all of the other wineries, he would sort of give us the gossip about each winemaker or each horse owner. Super cool experience. And of course, I asked if I could fly the hot air balloon, which it really amounts to pulling the handle and making the flame come out of the jets to heat the air in the balloon. Once you're in the hot air balloon, you basically go where the wind blows you. If you go up or down, sometimes the wind's blowing in different directions, so you can kind of steer a little bit. It was really interesting. The winds were in such a pattern that if we went up and then back down, we would sort of form a loop. So we kept flying over and over the same spot for a while until the winds changed, which they do early in the morning. So that was really awesome. Hot air ballooning. We also woke up at 4 a.m. to watch the blue blood super moon eclipse. So it's a blue moon, second full moon in a month. It's a blood moon eclipse because the moon is orange, and it's a super moon, which means the moon is at its closest point in its orbit around Earth. So this hadn't happened in 150 years in America, and we got up to see it, and it was amazing. The moon was setting over the Ortega Mountains, which are across the valley from where we were living. And speaking of the Ortegas, had some great adventures there. The Cleveland National Forest is there, and we did some hikes in Cleveland National Forest, and I did an epic bike ride through the Forest Service roads in the Ortega Mountains. One Saturday, I was on a group ride from this bike shop called Jack's Bicycles in Murrieta, and we got to the turnaround point, and I was saying, I'm trying to find a way to ride through these mountains, but I keep hitting dead-end sandy roads, and I just can't take my road bike. And one of the other cyclists said, well, I know a way, and I'll take you if you want, but it's gonna take 3 or 4 hours for us to do it. And so I checked my water, I had enough water, I checked my food, I had some food, and I said, you know what? Let's do it. And we just took off into the middle of nowhere, into these mountains. And luckily I had this guy who knew where he was going. He had done it before. And it was so cool. We biked through this forest fire area that had been totally burned about 3 months ago when California was having those really bad wildfires. So very cool terrain and super cool adventure that I didn't even plan. So that was really awesome. We also really lucked out in that there's a ton of development in California, but right behind our house, there is dozens, maybe even 100 miles of trails, single track, double track, dirt roads in the rolling hills behind the house. And almost nobody is there. I think it was bought by some land developer and nothing has been done with it. And hopefully it stays wild, stays natural. There's coyotes in there and falcons and snakes and lizards and me, pretty much. So also I got to go to a shooting range and shoot guns for Christmas. That's what Heidi's family got me for Christmas. And of course we did some days down at the beach in Oceanside and Encinitas and Torrey Pines. We did a nature hike as part of our business mastermind. So that's the summary. Oh, one more story. Sorry, I forgot. Can't let you go yet. Another bike ride, I found this huge valley full of lemon trees, lemon groves everywhere. And they were hanging over the side of the road, and I was biking along and I could just pick lemons. And so I got a pocket full of lemons that I picked on a bike ride. All right, now that's the end. That's the last adventure story from Southern California. So as I record this, we are about to fly to Bali. We're going from California on to Bali, and I hope to see you guys there. If you want to come join me on Adventure Quest, April 20 to 27, it's going to be awesome. Check it out. That's on the website, DerekLoudermilk.com. Thanks so much for listening. Now it's your turn to go out there and